worried by some Shariah advisor, okay, to not renew their contract, because as a Shariah advisor, our term is based on contract, okay, per 2 years. So some Shariah advisor that I observe, they want to make sure that they secure their position. How they secure their position? Sometimes to compromise their Shariah knowledge, their integrity and honesty, to find the easiest way and to justify everything. So when there is a product presented to them, they will try to find any way to get the product approved. Okay. Just to make sure the bank are happy, the KPI of the business people and product development achieve, and the number of profit at the end of the year can be realized. So that bank is happy, then they can ensure and secure their position as Shariah advisory councils. This is very risky, very dangerous, but sometimes it cannot be avoided, especially if the Shariah committee, Shariah advisor do not have that full of integrity and honesty. In my case, my personal experience, how I can avoid that kind of conflict of interest, that kind of dishonest or lack of integrity in doing my jobs. I try to ensure that I don't rely my life to the remuneration given by the bank. So I open a dedicated bank account so that all the remuneration of Islamic bank, okay, of my advisory come to that bank account, and I don't touch for my life expenses. So from the first day, I have that commitment to not use the remuneration from Islamic bank for my personal expenses, for my own consumption, for my daily expenses, so that I don't depend on this money. So whenever bank want to terminate my services, they can do it. Because for me, nothing to lose to become a Shariah advisor or not to become a Shariah advisor. Because the integrity has to be properly observed. Because our accountability and responsibility not only for the board of directors or for the Central Bank of Malaysia, but our main responsibility is to God. We are answerable to our God, and we are acting on behalf of God. When we signed an agreement, a product, or a marketing material, or whatsoever document that we have in Islamic Bank, and then we see that it is permissible, it is prohibited, and we decide that everything are in order, all activities, operation, and product in Islamic Bank is Shariah compliant, and we sign that. So basically, we sign on behalf of God, isn't it? So if we don't have that integrity and honesty, then there is a high probability that our signature does not represent actually what the God want, what the God will. This is the first personal character that should we have in order for us to become a dedicated Shariah advisor: integrity and honesty. The second personal character, the independency. We have to have that full independency. There is always a conflict between a Shariah advisor and product people, business people, because their mandate are different. The mandate of business people in bank, product development, are to make money, to make profit. So that they want to ensure that everything is permissible, every proposal are approved, and no income have to be channeled to charity. On the other hand, the mandate given to Shariah committee or Shariah advisor is to ensure Shariah compliant aspect, which in some cases have a negative impact to the profitability of the bank, which in some cases have a conflicting punya mechanism, punya decision. Why? Because as to ensure Shariah compliant, sometimes Shariah advisor have to request, have to ask a product people or a staff in the bank to purify a tainted income or an income recognized by the bank resulting from Shariah non-compliant events or transaction to be purified to charity or to be refunded back to the customer. It cannot be recognized as a profit of the bank. While from the bank perspective, any income received from the customer has to be part of the profit of the bank that has a contribution to the profitability of the bank. While on the other hand, sometimes Shariah Advisor decide that no, this income should not be put under your profit. It should be put aside under what we call charity account, and you have to treat as a tainted income and has to be channeled to charity or have to be refunded back to the customer. So you have to have that independency. But the issue sometimes, again, the issue because we are remunerated, paid by the bank. So Shariah Advisor tend to be permissive, tend to support sometimes the business people, product development, to facilitate whatever that they have is approved. Whatever the income that they receive are legitimate from Shariah point of view, so that they don't need to purify the income to charitable bodies or to refund back to the customers. The third personal character that you should have is sincerity and right intention. What is your intention to serve as a Shariah Advisor, to become Shariah Committee member, to serve the industry, to ensure Shariah compliant, to eliminate people from riba? This is how Riba Campaign come into picture. But if you don't have that right intention, just to maximize your income, your profit, so that you can increase your source of income, then you can grow your wealth. You can have that. You can use it, your remuneration, for buying car, buying a house, and whatsoever. Then it's become a trouble, become a problems. So you have to have that right intention for you to become a Shariah Advisor, because you are an agent of God. My personal experience, I was approached to become a Shariah Advisor since 2011 by one of the takaful operators, but I rejected many times. Because why? Because at that time I was not ready. My heart is not so good at that time, because I'm still a student. I am student, IBF student, a PhD student that rely heavily on financial support, financial assistance. Okay, so I was thinking at that time, if I receive this offer, for sure I will rely my tuition fee, my life expenses for that remuneration, for that banking remuneration, or for that fee from Shariah Advisory service. And it is not good for my integrity and honesty that I rejected many times until 2014, when I drafted so many Shariah standards and I know many things on the practical issues. Then I accepted the offer, but I make sure at that time that my existing income, okay, already covered my monthly expenses, so that with or without that Shariah Advisory, I don't need this money. Because the moment I need this money, I will rely on this money, and I will ensure that this money will come to me for forever. To secure my position, sometimes I have to compromise my religion, my decision, my integrity. This is the thing that I rejected to become a Shariah Advisor previously until 2014. I got an offer from Sumitomo Bank at that time. I got an interview and I got that position, but I rejected because at that moment, Sumitomo Bank only appointed me as the only one appointed Shariah Advisor to serve as a Shariah Advisor to provide an overall oversight for the whole operation of the Islamic Bank. And I declined the offer because I was still new at that time, new advisor, so I was not ready to serve or loaned as a Shariah advisor. Then I declined. Then later on, Affin Bank came to offer me. Then I accepted the offer. Commitment. Okay, this is one of the most also important factor that you should have for us if you want to become a Shariah advisor or Shariah committee member in the future, because the work of Shariah advisor is very heavy. Every day we have to open laptop, open emails, because the email will come from the banks asking on approvals, clarification, rectification, and many things. That's why in the morning I start my day with opening a laptop. Bukan pergi ke tandas dulu, opening a laptop, try to find what are the emails came from the banks. Like the case in this morning, I got 3 emails, 3 different issues, and I have to start my day by reading a document from the bank, 65 pages. Tomorrow I have a meeting at 9:30. Okay, and after this event, this talk, I have to open laptop. I have to read around 300 pages for the meeting materials. So if you don't have that full commitment to serve as an advisor, it is very challenging task. That's why sometimes I will imagine one Shariah scholar can serve more than 100 Islamic financial institutions. One guy, we'll see later, serve more than 81 Islamic financial institutions as Shariah advisor. How they can manage their times? Because, for example, in the meeting, at least we have a meeting once in a month. In my case, we have twice in a month. Now, if you serve as Shariah advisor more than 100, so by average, you have a meeting 3 times in a day. Imagine if you have a meeting in Malaysia in the morning, and in UK in the afternoon session, and then in the night session you have a meeting in Middle East. How you can fulfill this kind of task? How you can ensure that you can attend the whole meeting in one day? Unless you have that, you are a Superman, you have Burok, something like that, then it is possible. But as long as you are still a human being, a normal people, I think it's almost impossible for you to become an effective Shariah advisor. That's why sometimes their decision, their fatwa are questionable. And many fatwa are disputed in the court, and sometimes the judge decide that this fatwa is mistake, is wrong. Because sometimes the Shariah advisor do not read the document, do not vet through the material, just look at the structure. If the structure is fine, then everything is fine. Then many problems come into picture. Over the last 2 decades, there are a number of cases have been brought to the court to challenge the Shariah compliant aspect of the Islamic banking product, which in some cases have resulted into financial loss to Islamic bank, because the judge decide that this product is not Shariah compliant, although by the Shariah advisor it is Shariah compliant. Commitment, awareness. You have to have that awareness, understanding on the business operation, on the business operation, so that your decisions are practical in a way. Polite and humble. Make sure you have that kind of personal character, so that you don't undermine other Shariah scholars. Because sometimes when we are sitting in one membership, a Shariah advisor, we tend to have that different views. Disagreement is a normal. So you have to respect. Sometimes we may disagree with their view, but we have to respect their view. We cannot undermine their view, although sometimes we think that their view is very weak. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the decision in the Shariah committee are based on majority basis. Although sometimes the minority view is very strong, but when it comes to voting, sometimes that strong view are overruled by that majority views. In terms of competency. There are some competencies that very important for us to serve as an advisor. Knowledge of usul fiqh, because usul fiqh will teach you how we can use that different tool and methodology to arrive at a specific rulings. Okay, if you learn that usul fiqh, you learn on these various sources of Sharia to serve a Sharia methodology. Okay, to decide on a specific ruling, specific cases presented to us, whether this case is permissible based on customary business practices, the consideration of public benefit, blocking the means, presumption of continuity, analogy, and other sources of the Sharia. They are discussed widely and extensively in usul fiqh subject. The second competency is the understanding on maqasid Sharia, the objective of Sharia. What are the objective of Sharia and how this objective of Sharia can be applied in structuring, in approving a dedicated or certain Sharia compliant product. Understanding qawaid fiqh here, Islamic legal maxims. I think one of the good reference for you to understand the Islamic legal maxim in the context of Islamic finance is the book published by ISRA in 2015. I was not mistaken. I was one of the author. The title is Islamic Legal Maxims and its Application in Islamic Finance. So they discuss on each and every Islamic legal maxim and they try to apply it in the context of Islamic banking and finance. Understanding fiqh mu'amala is very crucial because Islamic banking and finance are structured based on different and various Sharia contracts. Okay, so you have to understand that the nature of the contract, the legal implication of the contract, the essential requirement, component of the contract, so that you can apply it in structuring Islamic banking or Islamic financial products. And last but not least, competency on financial systems, because there is no point for you to understand usul fiqh, Islamic legal maxim, fiqh mu'amala, if you don't understand how Islamic finance work, how Islamic banking operate. Because you cannot apply these various qualification, discipline into this field if you don't understand the operation of the Islamic financial systems. Moving on. Okay, in Malaysia, the qualification of Sharia advisor are quite simple. First, as long as you are Muslim, then you qualify as Sharia advisor, either male Muslim or female Muslim. And bachelor, you have a bachelor degree in Sharia, but it is not requirement for all Sharia advisor. It's only a requirement that the majority of Sharia advisor are having a bachelor degree in Sharia. That include usul fiqh and fiqh. That's why if we have 5 Sharia committee in one bank, so 3 of them are Sharia background, 2 of them sometimes one from legal background, one from economics or from accounting. So as long as the majority of member or Sharia committee member are having Sharia background, then we are fine. No, it is not a requirement in Malaysia for each and every Sharia committee to have that Sharia background, bachelor degree in Sharia. Like myself, my degree was not in Sharia. My degree was in Islamic economics, but I learned Sharia in pesantren, in pondok pesantren, so that I managed to apply the Sharia principle in the context of Islamic finance when I pursued my study of Islamic economics in my first degree, in master degree, as well as in PhD. And strong knowledge in Arabic language is for the one who has a Sharia background. But if you are coming from economics, accounting, legal, then it is not required. In fact, most of the Sharia advisor that we have cannot speak Arabic, but they understand the Arabic language. At least they can read the Arabic language. But another important qualification is, I think all of you will qualify for that. Good understanding in Bahasa Malaysia, and I'm not qualified with this. Because I'm Indonesian, I qualify in Bahasa Indonesia. Well, in Bahasa Malaysia, at least good understanding.